Okay, everyone. Well, I promised I'd make a short video about the Supernote and kind of the things that I find to be most useful. This will be a very short video. I want to talk mainly about the updates for the beta that are currently out there. As most of you know, the A6X2 Nomad has just been released and has started shipping. This is a smaller version than the one I have. This is the A5X, and it is the first generation of the X platform. So they're supposed to be coming out with an A5X2 next year, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. But what I'm actually waiting on is the A4 Slim, which is the larger notebook that I really think is what I've been waiting for the most, because I like that larger format device. So let's talk about real quick my favorite pieces of using this, but also some of the things that came out with this beta. So, first one is if you go to a new node, it used to be that you had a default template. So, whatever that template was, when you pulled this up, it would automatically have been there. And then you would just choose either a standard note or the real-time recognition note. And for those of you not familiar with the Supernote, it does real-time in the background handwriting recognition, and it's a really useful tool. So it allows your handwritten text to be searchable. There are some more videos that go way more in depth on the Supernote than I will in this video, and I'll link them in the description. But it's really important to understand that one of the misconceptions so far, and they may change this, of course, this is a beta, but the idea is that instead of having this set in the settings for the default, that it also exists right here with the note creation. So your default will automatically be highlighted. And then what you will do is if you all of a sudden decide you want to change that, you can go to view all, you can go to the common templates, and you can change it in the moment. Otherwise, it still works the same. It's just easier to access and change that default. And then you'll just name the note. So you can click here, and then you can actually hit this little X right here to the side to clear that out. And then the nice thing about this is you can turn on the keyboard if you'd like, or you can handwrite it. So all we do is we write new note, and that's going to come up right there in the description, and you'll just hit create. When you do that, you're going to have your new note. Now you're in your notes, so you can do everything from write heading to text. And this is where you can use some of those really cool features like I enjoy. So you can use your quick lasso tool, and you can turn this into a heading. You can use it here and turn this into a keyword. And it'll recognize it and add it to your keyword list. So as long as it does it right, which it did, you hit add, and now it's in there. And then the other thing that's really cool that I enjoy using on this is the lasso erase, or the erase function. So you just hold two fingers down and you can erase right there. So it's really interesting. It's really fun. It's intuitive. And one last thing I want to show you is the link. So I'll just change my tool. And the links are great too. So with that lasso tool, you just hit this and you hit link. And one thing you can do is you can go to any recent file, you can go to a new notebook, you can go to a document, you can even enter a website. One thing Supernote has not done yet is to make it so you can copy or copy a link from your email and then insert it, or copy it from a document and then insert it. I think that's coming, but it's just not here yet. Another thing that's coming directly because of the A6 platform, or the A6 Nomad, I should say, is the Ailer. So, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's their new paint program. So the idea with this is it's an app you install through their app store. They only have two. They have the Kindle and they have this. And then when you open that, you will get a drawing. So I did a test one here. And this is still in beta, so it is pretty uh, pretty buggy still. So they're still working out the bugs. But what you can do is you can change different pencil sizes. So you hit that, and then you can see all of the different pencils you have. Same with the marker and the brush. So this is the ink pen. You have multiple ones, and then with the marker as well. Now, one part that's kind of neat, and I have to do a huge caveat here. I am not an artist. I can't draw to save my life, so I'm going to show you a couple of very brief things, and then you can take that as you will. But I do think it's a very useful tool for those who can draw. So before we go on to the spray paint, these are all of the grayscale colors you have. Now remember, this is an e-ink tablet and it is not color, so it has specifically grayscale components. But so for example, and one thing that I think is really interesting is the spray paint. And so you have two different pieces that you can use, or two patterns. So we'll just take this style, and then as you hold it down, you'll see there that you're going to get this image. Now, again, I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to draw anything, or, well, maybe I will. Let's draw a little stick figure here. And let's take a thick pen and let's just draw a little guy here. Put his eyes and a big smile. So now we have two different drawings to kind of show you this next piece. So you have layers, and there are people who go into a lot more detail on this. And again, there'll be links in the description. But I want to show you kind of what I'm thinking about how I could use this. So, for example, so now what I originally thought was a shape isn't a shape, it's called a marquee. So you can either do a free form, a regular circle, you can do a square, or you can do an ellipse. It really doesn't matter, it just fits the shape. So I'll do a regular just to make it easier. So I can just circle this, and then you'll see here that I can either copy it or I can cut it. If I cut it, then what it's going to do is basically just make this shape stay where it is, and then I can manipulate it. If I copy it, it's going to duplicate it. So we'll cut it for now. So we hit cut, you'll see it drew that bounding box. So now what I can do is I can resize this, I can make it bigger or smaller. I can actually grab here and I can tilt it. So I can tilt it either way. And then one other thing that's really fun and interesting is I can grab here and I can kind of drag it and make it look completely distorted. So I can move it around in different ways. And then I just tap off and now I have that new shape. And I can do that the same with this little guy. And I can say, okay, well, I want to duplicate him. So I hit duplicate, and now I can pull him over here, and I can do kind of the same thing. I can make him look a little distorted, like he's standing over there to the side, and make a little grouping. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of fun. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. It doesn't have the lasso eraser. It doesn't have all of the same tools that you have on the other one, but it does do a lot of cool things. So that's just a quick overview. Like I said, I wasn't going to go through in big detail, but just know that this is in the beta, and I do have the older device. The nice thing about Supernote and Rada as a company is that even though they're coming out with these new devices, even though they're coming out with some really cool stuff, expandable storage, expandable memory, modularity, so you can replace components without having to buy a new device, all of that is really cool, but they're also supporting their older devices. I've had this particular unit 2.5 years, and I love it. It does all the things I need it to do, and they keep adding things to it from a software perspective. Now, eventually that's going to change. It's going to be harder for them to have this software, this hardware support the software, but they're going to do it as long as they can. So none of this having to exchange every year, every other year. It's really an interesting way to think about this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a little bit shorter than the other ones, but I think you'll agree with me that this is kind of a neat way to do different things, and hopefully we can keep the conversation going. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see, what other videos you'd like me to do. We'll be going through more on organization with the Supernote and other units, but this at least gives you an idea of some of the different tools that are available, especially for you folks out there that are very artistic. Have a good day, and please like and subscribe